This is Kerwin and Keith Yard of Father Son Galaxy. Our guest is Jordan Wilson, former Wikipedia administrator and worker of the social media team. Wikipedia, as you know, is a fan website that contains the most accurate and comprehensive information regarding all things Star Wars. Jordan, welcome back to Father Son Galaxy.
Thank you for having me, my friends. It is great to see you both again.
Thank you. And I just wanted to just start off by, if anyone has been on social media, have known that you have, had some challenges, many challenges these past few weeks, and we just want to say how sorry we are that you actually had to go through that. Um, it's when I first saw what was happening, and we're not going to go into any details of it because if anybody wants to read about it, they can go on Twitter. I was just very disappointed as to what was going on with you. So we just wanted to, just let you know that we're always here to support you.
I appreciate you both very much. And honestly, just getting to interact with everyone has just always been the greatest joy in all of this, And wherever the next journey may take me, which we'll get into later, I'll always carry those friends with me. So I will always be in contact with you guys, and you guys always have a friend in me.
Thank you. Yeah, on Twitter, you do have a tweet that's pinned to your personal account, and here you were giving your side of the story as to what happened between you and Wikipedia. And you started off the tweet by saying, "I was not going to make a statement, but for my own mental health, I need to say this." Now that you've able to express your side of the story and how you feel about what happened or the events that took place, how do you feel now after making that statement?
I think now, about a week afterwards, it was the right thing to do. I think that let me really process a lot of what's happened over the last few weeks. And it's just kind of helped me grow from it, maybe learn where the mistakes were, learn where maybe there were other opportunities, and just really come out of it a stronger person.
And I know you worked at uh, Wikipedia for 14 years.
Yeah, what would you say are some of your greatest accomplishments in those 14 years?
I think honestly, I'm gonna go with the social media side of it. Just getting to really help improve the site's image and really just take us from kind of a place that people knew of but didn't really know per se, and turn it into something where we were held up on kind of the same pedestal of positivity as like the Star Wars account and Star Wars Explained. That's I took a lot of pride in that.
I remember you were on our podcast about 3 years ago for the first
Has it
time.
been that long already?
Yeah, I can't believe it was that long ago.
It has been way too long.
Yeah, actually, 2022. You're right, 2022, and I remember that was right after Podathon.
Yes.
And we started our podcast in 2021, and we were so excited to know that Wikipedia knew who we were. Although we couldn't put a name to the face, we just know Wikipedia as this website, reference resource materials that we always can rely on, if we need further clarification or information. But we were so excited when we saw that Wikipedia was following us, right? Um, and like you said, social media was, very important to you that you needed to get out there and speak to the fan community and participate. And one of the things that you did was you attended our Podathon telecast that was back in 2022. Um, but now it seems things are changing with Wikipedia. And we realized that after the events that happened a few weeks ago, Wikipedia just decided that
Basically, purge all their
they were
followers.
going to
Yeah.
unfollow a lot of the content creators, which honestly I feel is a bad idea.
And for whatever reason, that included podcasters like us,
Yeah,
who are big fans of Wikipedia.
That
So,
in itself is a travesty. I think you guys should have a follow up for life, personally.
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So then the statement, and I quote, was they unfollowed a large number of accounts upon realizing that their accounts were following individuals and organizations that were unrelated to Wikipedia's mission as a fan-run encyclopedia, or in some cases were even outright problematic as far as being followed by our accounts go, such as accounts related to real-world politicians, unrelated businesses and actors, and accounts publishing mature content. Ultimately, in the hopes of avoiding any bias, non-Lucasfilm creator accounts were also simply unfollowed en masse, with these unfollows not being targeted towards any specific individuals or organizations. So, us at Fathership Galaxy totally disagree with that decision, and we hope they'll change their mind. But not only is this not bringing the community together, it's driving people apart from it. What are your thoughts on what looks to be their lack of engagement with the Star Wars community?
I think it's a mistake personally. Obviously, their team's going to want to kind of take a different approach to it, but I think that the best thing that we could have ever done was just get involved with the community. I tried to help bring people together, tried to connect actors with podcasts, connect wikis with fans. At the end of the day, I think that we all came out of it with a lot of really strong, really good bonds. I think it's a shame to kind of go the other way.
So, now that we've gotten that out of the way, let's talk about the really big thing here, which is the Acolyte. This is the first we're talking about this past episode 4. So, in episode 4 of The Acolyte, we see Ki-Adi-Mundi decades before his original non-canon birth date, which is because they couldn't get Yoda to be in the episode, and for whatever reason, they decided they needed a prequel Jedi and picked Ki-Adi-Mundi. Even though, we had other Jedi that were out there. So The Acolyte takes place sometime around 132 BBY. And previously, Ki-Adi-Mundi was born in 93 BBY and a now non-canon 1999 CD and a 2013 trading card. So, because of that, the wiki entry was changed, and his 1993 BBY birth date is now in the legend section, and there's no birth date listed currently.
So, go ahead.
Yeah, so Wikipedia editors were actually caught under fire due to an uproar from some of the fans.
Yeah. Can we unpack that? Like, what exactly, why were the fans so upset? So, from what I understand, in canon, we never knew the actual year that Ki-Adi-Mundi was born.
Yeah.
So when he appeared in this episode of The Acolyte, Wikipedia pieced it together that, okay, well, he must have been this many years old, so that means he would have been born in this period of time. But the fans didn't go for that. So what exactly made them angry?
I mean, I can tell you this much. Syrian males, I'm pretty sure they only live to be around 50. And if Ki-Adi-Mundi is a full-grown man by the time of The Acolyte, that means he's well into his hundreds by the time we get to The Phantom Menace.
Yeah. So, well, what happened, Jordan? What caused the uproar?
Honestly, I think beyond just the fact that it was Ki-Adi-Mundi appearing before his birthday, I think that was kind of what a lot of the more vocal side of the fan base decided to latch onto as their proof that, this sucks. They don't know what they're doing. In reality, it's perfectly normal for them to change things between Legends and canon. It's not going to be identical. And at the end of the day, without spoiling it for anyone, him being there didn't have any major impact on the timeline. Mm-hmm. It's not going to change the movies or anything. It's just, hey, I recognize that guy. But I think that a lot of the accounts that tend to rage bait and to really just kind of focus in on what they dislike over what they like, they just kind of latched onto that as their way to really drive that engagement.
I'll say, though, I just don't know what the Acolyte was going for there, because him being there and knowing that there was a Sith, or a quote-unquote Sith, somebody who's wielding a red lightsaber, very powerful, the dark side of the Force, kills multiple Jedi. So, textbook Sith was alive and kicking at that time, and so was Ki-Adi-Mundi, which just kind of makes his line from The Phantom Menace so strange. Like, the Sith have been extinct for a millennia, even though he's been alive to see a dude with a red lightsaber, strong on the dark side of the Force, killing multiple Jedi.
Mm-hmm. Did you watch that episode, Jordan?
I did. Are you both caught up completely on the series, or are you?
We are, yeah.
Sadly,
okay.
Yes.
We're okay to do spoilers. Just let people know.
Okay.
You have not seen the season of The Acolyte. You might want to turn us off and turn us back on when you have. But yeah, we're going to get into spoiler territory. So just wanted to, when you saw that episode for the first time, what were your thoughts? What were you were you surprised to see Kiadamundi in?
I was, to be honest, I was kind of expecting him to bring somebody from the prequels, but I was expecting it to be like Uriel Poof or someone like that.
Yes.
And I actually didn't even recognize it at first. I saw the Serena in the background. I'm like, oh, that's neat. Then I'm looking at the credits after, and it's, oh, holy crap, that was Kiadimundi. And it didn't click in my head at first that, oh, well, he was born in this year in Legends. I'm just thinking, oh, that was neat. Lo and behold, it just immediately became an uproar. And what was for a lot of people on Wook just a typical updating a page just based on new information turned into people coming under fire.
Yeah. This is pretty interesting to me because I think Kiadamundi is really being used as a scapegoat. I think where the anger or the indifference is coming from is because that
This show is awful.
I wasn't going to say that. I was going to say that the fans are split with this show. I mean,
on one side,
yeah.
Well, to me, there's 3 sides to this, maybe 4, but there's like the diehard Disney fans who love anything that they make, and then on the other side of the spectrum, you got the people who absolutely hate Disney and do not enjoy the stuff they make, and then you have the people who are in the middle, the people who enjoy Disney products, but they just don't like The Acolyte.
Mm-hmm.
I fall into that category, and so does Dad. Like, I honestly can't say that I've seen anything on this level ever. I watched that finale and then I had to wash it down with a glass of grapefruit juice and some Star Wars Rebels because I needed something to clear my head.
I think we can all agree on one thing from the finale, though. Seeing the crystal being bled in live action, that was pretty cool.
Yeah,
Sure.
it did have some cool elements.
It had some kick to it.
Right. It has some cool elements. So the point I was trying to make, Jordan, is this Kiadimundi thing is just minuscule compared to what is really happening behind the scenes.
Kind of feels
That
like
again,
some people needed something to latch their anger onto.
right.
And they're like, oh, Kiadimundi, and then that's what
Yeah.
they all targeted it to.
Yeah, I think some people, from the beginning, I can only speak for myself because Keith is right. When we saw the first 4 episodes, we realized, well, maybe after episode 3, well, for me, that this is not the show for me. I just had a lot of questions going on with the show.
In fact, I have more questions now than I did when the show
Yeah,
started.
right. And that should not be the case when you've seen the entire season. There shouldn't be that many questions left over unless there's a cliffhanger.
There's a difference between a mystery and just copping out.
Yeah.
Like,
So
you can leave people in suspense, but you gotta make people care about the suspense. It's like the cliffhanger in Across the Spider-Verse. Everybody is still waiting to see Beyond the Spider-Verse.
yeah,
I sure am. Because it was good. Not only was the movie great, the characters were great. Everything about it was great. So when the cliffhanger hit, it had you wanting more. Whereas here, I'm just angered. I just don't know why they picked a cliffhanger. And it makes no sense.
yeah. Kiadimundi was just to me just a reason for the fans to bring up that
Just
the
like an
timeline
icon
doesn't
of
make any
hatred.
sense because they don't like the show.
See,
Yeah.
personally, I've kind of had the opposite reaction that me and my girlfriend have been watching it every week, and we found that we've become very invested in the characters, and that's something I've kind of said to a lot of people in the last couple of weeks, just as everyone's kind of trying to process how everything's playing out. Is it's okay if something's not for you. Maybe it's not for you, maybe it's for someone else, but that's okay.
That's crazy because my main gripe with The Acolyte is the fact that I don't care about the characters because they don't make me care. Like, Yord and Jackie dying in episode 5, I'm like, okay, the only person I was really here to see was Soul, and they just had him force choked.
Yeah, there was
Like,
a
of
lot.
all the ways to go out, you just had him kneeling on the ground, just literally gasping for air. Y'all couldn't have thought of, like, anything else?
Well, that's the point we're trying
This
to.
show got me weak.
Well, we're glad to know that you enjoyed the show, and that's absolutely fine.
I'm glad somebody.
Yeah, we didn't enjoy it as much as you did, and that's absolutely
I
fine.
didn't
So the
enjoy it
idea
at all.
is that we can communicate and speak our mind and provide our thoughts on a particular show. We don't always have to agree, but
And we
there
can do
needs to
so
be a
without.
line drawn as far as, you know, you don't want to be rude. You don't want to, name call, call out anybody with any names. I mean, you still want to be
Yeah.
respectful to other people. And I think some people in the fandom just cross the line on that.
Yeah, I've noticed that some parts of the fan base, it tends to be either a, honestly, to make use of Star Wars illusion, it ends up becoming a sort of a Sith situation where it's you're either with me or you're against me, and no,
No.
that's not how it is. We can like different things and we can still have respectful discussion about it.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about.
Agree.
Tell us about your new role with the Peter Mayhew Foundation.
So that one is a particularly fun one, and that's kind of a real nice silver lining in all this. So I've been friends with Matthew Egan, the foundation's philanthropy director, for a couple of years now. We've met through Star Wars Twitter, with our respective accounts, though me doing Wook and him doing the Mayhew Foundation account. And he's become a good friend in all this. He's been somebody who's been very supportive. And when he heard that I was stepping away from Wikipedia, his first instinct was, "Hey, you've got some talent. You wanna come help some kids out?" And I'm like, "Absolutely. You know what? I love the work that they do. I love what their mission statement is, which is just helping fans, helping keep families together, and just really just being that light in our world. And something that I very much am 100% supportive of."
So, as a Star Wars fan, if you may know this, if you're not, we can tell people who Peter Mayhew is and what is the mission of the foundation.
So the foundation, they just do a lot of philanthropic work. So, for example, like if let's say a kid has to go into the hospital for a major surgery, and maybe the family's having a little bit of struggle financially, the foundation will do their best to step in and cover the medical costs, ensure the family can stay with the kid while they're recovering, make sure the kid is entertained, has toys, and it's just basically making it as easy and smooth a process as possible, and making it as painless as possible for that kid, and making the recovery a strong one. Beyond that, they do a lot of work with other organizations around the world as well, and some of the things they do are just fantastic.
Yeah, and Peter Mayhew, of course, is the original actor who played Chewbacca. So, what was it that? Well, what will you be doing at the foundation? Let's start
So
there.
they're going to be teaching me how to do grant writing. So grant writing, for anyone who doesn't know, it's when a charitable organization applies for what's called a grant. So let's say a company wants to donate money to some philanthropic cause, they will put out a grant for it. Various charitable organizations will then put in a proposal for it, which is essentially here's what we kind of want to do with this funding. This is how it's going to be used. This is kind of what our proposal is. What do you think? And if they like it, they'll accept it and give the money out.
Mhm. Okay.
It's something that I've always honestly loved having new challenges, and this is an exciting one to learn, because I honestly don't really know anything about grant writing, but I'm very excited to see how my wiki brain takes to it.
When do you start?
So I'm going to start doing some of their courses in the next couple of weeks. They've got a kind of an unofficial thing to look through just to kind of familiarize myself with it. But I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, it sounds like it's right up your alley. And you'll still, well, although you'll be doing grant writing primarily, what about your skills as a social media influencer? How would you help bring the foundation to the fandom's attention if people don't know that that this foundation exists? What can you do to get the word out about how important the Peter Mayhew Foundation is?
Honestly, I would love to kind of leverage my network of connections and contacts to really help them expand in social spaces, be it coming on podcasts like this to talk about what they do, be it connecting them with various celebrities and authors, kind of setting up some fun little one-on-ones. I'm excited to see what we can do with it. I think there's a lot of a really good opportunity here. It's going to help a lot of people.
Nice. And do you have anything else planned? I mean, anything else that you'd like to share about what's up and coming for you?
So I've actually got one other project on the back burner, and you guys are going to be the first ones to officially hear the name on this. Me and my lovely girlfriend Chase are planning to launch our own podcast.
Nice.
It's going to be, the premise is going to be, it's going to be by fans for fans, and it's going to be a place where we're not here for the drama, we're not here for the rage baiting, we're just here to chat with fans and creators about what they love, what their passion is, what brings them back to this galaxy. Just the little things, the things that make us all smile. The title of it's going to be Droids Are Welcome Here.
Wow, I like that. That's pretty
We
cool.
were kind of trying to think up names, and it just kind of clicked that, like, hey, I don't think there's a podcast with this name yet. So if anyone's watching this before we launch, please don't take the name.
Right, exactly right. Copyright that name. That's awesome. Wow.
I mean, you should probably launch before we upload this.
I'm hoping in the next week or so we can put some time aside to really start working on kind of the foundation of this. But I think between that and the Peter Mayhew Foundation, I think it's a really bright future. I think there's a lot of really good potential here.
We'd love to help you get started if you need it.
Yeah, we would love to be a guest on your podcast.
I was just going to say that you are both absolutely on my invite list once we get launched. I want to have kind of a nice cross-section of content creators, of just kind of your everyday fans, authors, actors. I want to get a good cross-section. So it's, this is for everybody, regardless of kind of how you may feel about one thing or another. We're all here together.
All right.
Exactly. And, that's the type of podcast that we need. And there's plenty of them out there. There's a lot to choose from. But that should be the idea for everyone, is to be all inclusive. Like, this is a community, right? We don't discriminate. We allow people to speak their mind, share their thoughts, and we don't downgrade them or disrespect them in any way. So this is awesome. I can't wait to see this take off. And, please keep us posted on that.
Oh, absolutely. And you know what? Like I said, you guys are more than welcome on any time. I have no doubt I'm going to be asking a lot of questions, because this will be the first time we've actually kind of done our own solo launch. Obviously, the last one I did was the WookieCast, but that was very largely using Wikipedia. So this is going to be exciting. This is going to be a nice adventure for both of us. We've kind of wanted to have something we can do together in the fandom for a while, because she's always been kind of sitting at the side while I've been doing all the Wikipedia stuff, but I want to bring her in on this too, I love chatting with her about Star Wars. I love watching it with her, and I want her to share her passions as well.
Exactly. And that's funny. Speaking of passion, when we had you on the first time, we never asked you why you're so passionate about Star Wars. So I'm going to ask that question now. So where did this come from? When did it start, the passion for Star Wars?
I can't believe we didn't cover that last time.
Yeah.
So for me, it all harkened back to the novel Heir to the Empire by Timothy Zahn. So I picked that up in a used bookstore that I was very familiar with as a child. And I don't know to this day, I have no idea what it was about it, but it was something about the way it was written, something about the way that Timothy Zahn really wove the characters together, that it latched onto my brain, and it just stayed there. It just lived rent-free in my head for years. It was just something about it that was like, I love this. I need more of this. And little did I know, that trip to that bookstore would turn into a lifelong obsession that I probably devote way too much time to.
Do you remember how old you were at the time when you first read the book?
I want to say, we're 2024 right now, I think. I want to say I was probably like 8 or 9 at the time.
Yeah.
And it was just something about specifically the line, but it was so artistically done. I don't even know why it stuck. It just stuck.
Yeah.
And here we are all these years later.
Yeah. Yeah. That's wonderful. My passion goes back to the original trilogy. And, once you're hooked in Star Wars, you never get out of it. And I'm not saying that everything that Star Wars related is going to be great. It's going to knock it out the park. No. But what I like is that Lucasfilm is not giving up. They're going to continue to have more material. It's not going to end with the Acolyte. We still have Skeleton Crew coming out hopefully at the end of the year. They're working on films. So I'm so excited for the future of Star Wars.
I mean, me personally, I'm not the most excited for Skeleton Crew, given what I just witnessed with the Acolyte.
I hope you change your mind, Keith, because I am. We were talking about this when we were trying to predict when these shows were going to drop. Um, and then I thought that, because The Acolyte was the most highly anticipated series, that was going to drop at the end of the year. Like Lucasfilm was going to have all the fans wait until the end of the year and finally get The Acolyte. But when it came out in June, I was, I thought, well, that's interesting. They're not saving the best for last, and maybe they're not.
I mean,
Um,
honestly, I find it funny that they dropped a fizzling stink bomb before something that could actually have
okay,
potential.
can we?
I'll be the
Yeah,
optimist. He can be the
yeah,
pessimist.
yeah. Again, this is fair game. We're passionate.
Yeah.
Um,
At the
so
end of the
I don't
day,
know.
we all love Star Wars. We're all here for the
Yeah,
same reason.
exactly. So I don't know if this means that Skeleton Crew is saving the best for last. Like this is the one that's going to bring the
I
fans
mean, Skeleton Crew
together.
better be good.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't go wrong with 80s kids shows. It's
Well, right. I
like
mean,
E.T. and the Goonies and stuff.
exactly.
You
Yeah.
know, that whole list.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
they better get it right. I'll be very sad if they don't, because this is like a slam dunk for Disney, because this is their genre, this is their region, and if they mess this up, I'm going to be so sad.
yeah,
So personally, the one that I absolutely cannot wait for is a second season of Ahsoka. That is what's living rent free in my head right now.
second season. Yeah, and we have no idea when that's coming. Not
No,
yet.
I'm not even sure if they've fully confirmed anything or not. But yeah, that's what I'm waiting on. That's what's living in my head right now. Is I need more.
Yeah. Look, it's like I said. I mean, there's going to be more coming, and that's the exciting part. Is that Star Wars is not dead. You don't need to have a funeral for Star Wars. That's just wordplay.
But we
It's
do
not
need to have a funeral for Soul.
exactly. You never know. I mean, they have so many characters. I mean, we could spend the rest of this episode just talking about what they could do next. One of the things you mentioned about Heir to the Empire, and we are kind of seeing some of that book come to life in live action. But there are so many great books out there. With the High Republic and with the other Star Wars books, there's material right there that can be adapted into a film or to a TV series. I don't know if that will ever happen, but I think that's something that Lucasfilm should look into.
I mean, I think what would be a slam dunk for them is to adapt some of those Clone Wars arcs that never made it to screen
Oh, I'd love to
into
see
like its
that.
own season. Like, Son of Dathomir, that one with Ventress and stuff.
Oh,
That
I
was
would love to see that.
Mhm.
like
One that
I'm
I
down
would.
for that. If they I've been hearing that they're gonna like do live action Clone Wars, but I would just prefer that they animate the stuff that actually matters. Like I really don't want to watch a repeat of stuff that's already been made. So
And that's a good point as far as animation because the Bad Batch has ended, and I
yeah.
can't imagine Star Wars not having a new animated series. So what's next? We'll find out.
What I would love to see is I want to see a show, either animated or live action, that's just based solely on the Inquisitors. I want to see something where it's you start in the Clone Wars, you go through the first few years of the war, and then just snap like that. It's all different.
That would be awesome. I love the Inquisitors. I love their storyline. I
That's
think
why
that,
that's what I loved about. I don't know if you read Rise of the Red Blade or not, but that just the way that had that just absolute twist right in the middle. I want that in TV form.
Hmm.
Something where it's you're going to build up to it and then it's just going to rip your heart right out.
excellent. I have not read that book, but I've heard some
Oh,
very
highly recommend.
okay. It's on my list. Rise of the Red Blade.
The other one I'll do a little shout out for is also Dr. Chris Kempshall just had his new book come out, The Rise and Fall of the Galactic Empire, and I haven't finished it yet at the time of the recording, but it is phenomenal.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, we have that book as well. Yeah.
We're hoping to interview him.
Yeah, we're hoping. Yes. Keith.
Hey, if I can help facilitate that, I am more than happy to.
Yeah.
He's a good friend. He's a really good guy.
Nice. Yeah. I love the political side of Star Wars. I think it's awesome.
I don't.
Yes, you do.
Maybe a little bit.
Yeah. I love Bloodline. Andor was to me a
Yeah.
political thriller. So I am looking forward to speaking with Dr. Kemshaw. So yeah,
Politics.
I love the politics. It's
Oh,
fantastic.
you would.
Any story about Palpatine,
Oh, I love Palpatine.
I'm on board.
Oh,
And
He's a
speaking of
fascinating
Palpatine,
character.
whose idea was it to put Plagueis in episode 8 of The Acolyte and do
I'm actually
absolutely nothing with him?
I am not convinced that it was Plagueis, to be honest. I am not convinced it was him.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, what other yellow-eyed, long-headed Sith who hides in the shadows do you know of?
It could be anybody.
Could be anybody.
Yeah.
I was honestly more leaning towards it being his master, and then just kind of changing that around a little bit from
For
Legends.
goodness sake, it's probably like a banking clan guy or something coming to collect
Yeah.
rent.
Rent's on your cave.
Yeah. Well, the problem is, Jordan, are we going to get an answer to who that is? You know what I mean? We don't
Honestly.
know if there's going to be a season 2 of The Acolyte, so I guess we have to wait and see.
I think there will be. I have a feeling there will be.
I'm sorry, I'm not willing to subject myself to that.
Honestly, and that's absolutely fine.
I hardly got through the first season.
I will say that from the social media side of things, the Star Wars account they had some pretty good hits during the Acolyte. Like obviously not all the characters resonated with everybody, but there was a chunk of the fan base that really seemed to resonate with like Jecki and Yord, for example. And the fact that they had timed these gift boxes to go out and get to people's houses just before the episode where they murdered them dropped with like a Yord hoard of tissues, it's like, guys, are you okay over there?
Yeah.
That's nuts.
Very interesting.
Oh, they do such a great job on their team. I don't know how they do it, but they are just phenomenal.
Well, Jordan, once again, we just want to say how much you have helped grow our podcast. Again, when you reached out to us and recognized us, and we just felt we've been seen in the community. And so we want to keep in touch with you, continue to stay in touch with you. We wish you all the best.
Thank you, my friends, and just know that that positivity that you've said that you felt from me acknowledging you, that's exactly what I felt from all of you. Getting to interact with all of you was hands down the greatest part of doing all that, and I am so grateful to know you both.
Thank you. Same here. Same here. We will continue that relationship.
Always a pleasure, my friends.
Thank you. Where can people find you?
Well, now you can find me on my own accounts. So on Twitter, it's at SC Jordan Wilson. And honestly, at the moment, that's kind of the only account I'm really using. I'm kind of taking a little bit of a hiatus to focus on the foundation, to focus on some real life things. We're working on having my partner move up to my neck of the woods. It's a very hectic time. Unfortunately, moving and especially when it involves going out of one country into another, it's pretty hectic. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, we know. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, all the best to you.
Thank you very much.
Keith, where can people find us? If you can remember, it's been a while.
Yeah, you can find us wherever you get your podcast. Socials, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Bothersome Galaxy. Website, bothersomegalaxy.com. Please check out our merch store, which is bothersomegalaxy.mysweatshop.com. Patreon page, patreon.com/bothersomegalaxy. If I've said it, I'll say it again because I really need to buy that DLC.
Still.
I think the real travesty in all this is the fact that I still have to order one of your shirts. I have been meaning to do that for ages, and this is my reminder to do that.
Oh, that's
mean, if you feel so motivated as to empty your pockets for
always
You said it, not me.
my friends.
Yeah, we would appreciate that, Jordan. But no, of course, no promises. No, you're not obligated. But thank you so much. We would love that support.
Always a pleasure.
All right. That's Jordan Wilson. I am very excited to see what Jordan has in store for us. All right.
Yeah.
But
Can't wait.
Grant writer for the Peter Mayhew Foundation. All right. So above and beyond, right? So we're moving from, one journey to the next. And, we're looking forward to seeing what happens, Jordan.
Here's hoping it's all good things.
Yes, exactly. All right. So thank you, everyone, for joining us on this episode. Until next time, take care. And we will see you again.